feel like you're a bit all over the place with your branding, like everything is really inconsistent and it just feels a bit of a mess? Well, today's video is for you. In this episode of The Design Detective, we're going to be looking at the case of the inconsistent mess, looking at brand consistency. If you find it hard to stay organized with your branding and you find that you'll just randomly pick some random font just to try and whip something up and because you can't remember what font you used again, or you use a color picker to try and grab your brand colors and you're not really consistent in making sure you use the exact hex code and things like that, and you're also going on Canva and just picking out random elements rather than having a set of brand elements that you use, and well, your branding just ends up looking really messy, then this is the case of the inconsistent mess. So according to the case file, you might be seeing one or more of these mysteries. An inconsistent use of brand colors, make it unclear what your brand colors even are. You have to scramble around and use an eyedropper tool to try and find your brand colors. You don't have a nice neat place where you've got hex codes that you can easily grab. You're kind of just guessing half the time what your colors are. You can change your fonts all the time. You're not really consistent in always using the same brand fonts. Your graphics don't really look like they're all part of a set. For some reason, they feel rather inconsistent and they've all got a slightly different feel to them. They don't feel like they're all part of the same thing. And you often feel like you're starting from scratch. Anytime you go to create a graphic, you go and open a blank page and you feel like you've got to really start from scratch. Oh, what colors should I be using? What font should I be using? What elements can I use? You feel like you've just got to start all over every single time. So if any of these sound like you might be seeing some of this evidence. Your branding isn't recognizable or memorable. And designing always takes you a long time to get it done. You really feel like it ought to not take so long, but you're like, it always takes me ages to get any kind of graphics made. So to solve this case, we need to create a really important document. Something that's going to outline all your brand elements and how they should be used. And this is called your brand style guide. So your brand style guide is there to ensure that you're always consistent with how you use your brand elements, that it's consistent across all touch points and at every interaction in your brand, your marketing, your website, your print material, anything that you're putting out there, you're always staying consistent with your brand. It helps keep your brand consistent and makes it easier to create graphics. And also if you ever want to hire out any jobs, you've got something to show people so they instantly know what to work with to create something that's going to be on brand. Really make sure that everyone is clear about the rules of your brand identity. And it gives you an easy reference document so that you're always able to reference it to make sure that you're using the right brand elements and in the right way. The process of creating your brand guide also gives you an opportunity to review your brand. Notice if there's any gaps, things that you need to be adding and working on, things that you're actually unclear about, so maybe you're not sure how you want something to work. And so it helps you notice holes in your branding so that you can work on those areas as well. And if over time you want to add new things to your branding as well, you've also got this guide that shows you everything that's there right now so that you make sure that anything new that you add in aligns with what's already there. So inside this guide, you're going to find your logo and logo variations, your fonts and how different fonts would be used, so a certain font for headers, certain fonts for body copy, the sizes that should be used, the different styling, like can it be used in bold and italic and things like that, what colors a font can be used in. Then of course your color palette, so all the hex codes, then which colors are most important, so which ones are the primary colors, which ones are used less, things like that, and that ratio of usage. And then there's all your brand elements, so any kind of elements you've got, some graphic elements or some patterns or backgrounds, any other kind of elements you've got, as well as things like packaging, maybe business cards, your brand voice. So there's things that are essential that you need to have in there, you know, your logo and your logo variations and colors and fonts and all that. But then there's things that you may also want to add on. So it could be things like your packaging designs, a few pieces of collateral. You might also want to have some decorative pages that just show off how your brand should look. Now, if that feels really overwhelming and you think, oh, that sounds like a really huge document, I'm not sure if I'm quite ready for that, maybe I'll slowly work on it over time, but you need something right now to help get you consistent, there's two different things that we can do to start getting consistent right away. And that's creating a brand board and a set of templates. And this is instantly going to help you stay consistent, have an easy reference guide, and also make it easier to create graphics faster. So a brand board should look something like this. Basically, you're not setting all the rules around all your different brand elements, but you're laying out on a page, or if you want to, a few pages, all your brand elements. You want to show your logo, your fonts, your colors, including the hex code, so you make sure you're consistent with the colors you're actually using. And then any kind of brand elements you've got, things like patterns or graphics or icons. You may also want to add in your mood board and just a few words about the overall feeling of your brand, as well as a short snippet about your brand voice. This is going to serve as a really great quick reference guide, so every time you design, you can make sure that you're utilizing those elements and those elements only, and that you're using them in the right way. So you're always using the exact colors and the exact fonts and things like that. Now, if you're using Canva Pro, you can also set up a brand kit where you can actually upload all those brand elements into a brand kit so that you can grab them as you design. And this is also going to help speed up that process. So if you're using Canva Pro, make sure you utilize that brand kit and put everything in there. Upload your logo, upload your fonts, put your color palette in, put in your voice guide and any kind of other elements that you've got. That way they're there to just grab and drop into a graphic right away, so it's going to be really quick and easy. Now, once you've set up this quick guide for yourself, then you want to work on a set of templates. So think about the things that you do a lot. So maybe they're Pinterest pins or Instagram posts. What are some graphics that you produce regularly? So write down the type of graphics that you'd like to work on, then work on a set of templates. So using your brand guide to help you, come up with a set of templates that all feel like a set and like they all go with your brand. And then it's going to save you a lot of time in the long run, because whenever you need to create something quickly, you're not going to feel rushed and then do a sloppy mess of it, and it's not going to be quite online with your brand or not quite up to scratch. You've got a beautiful set of templates ready to go to really quickly produce graphics. Open up those templates, pick the one that's going to suit, make a few adjustments, add the new text in and things like that, and boom, you've got your graphic. So obviously over time you want to freshen up these templates because they'll start to get too repetitive. But if you do this every month or every second or third month, depending on how often you're using them, you're going to make your whole workflow a lot easier while keeping things fresh by constantly creating new sets of templates. And it's really going to make sure that you're consistent with your brand style. And that's going to start to make your brand more memorable and recognizable. So, case in summary, if you want to get consistent with your branding, start with a simple brand board, work on a few templates, and then over time, start to work on your brand style guide. So that's case closed, and in the next case, we're going to be looking at the relaxed rollout, where we're looking at how you apply your branding to your marketing channels. So make sure you subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you in the next case.